You and your guns. Welcome to the Imperial Grandstand. I'm Alan Imperial.
I'm Carlos Del Rosario.
And on today's show, we're going to be answering the question, why is rocket firing at us?
Why is rocket firing at us?
Oh, man.
Yes. But yeah. No, this is a really fun video because we're going to talk about Rocket as a D&D character.
Yeah, and he's this small, furry animal that just likes shooting things, has a
Yeah.
lot of energy.
A lot of energy. And to reiterate, this isn't the perfect build with all the stats. There's a lot of stuff out there already on YouTube already. But, it's just as casual observers of both the MCU and D&D, it's like, yeah, what would Rocket be?
Yeah, and then just talk about what that class and character are all about.
Yeah. So let's start with the stats. So, since I love Rocket, but he's a small, furry creature, his strength would be low.
Yeah, that would be his dump stat. From one small guy to another, it's like, strength is not your
Yeah.
it's not what you're good at.
I say he's stronger than your average raccoon, but
He's
I
not a
mean,
raccoon.
is
He's a
he?
rabbit.
I don't know. It's all over the place. Is he a trash panda? I don't know. Rabbit, fox. Whatever. But anyway, he's a small furry animal, and yeah, he can't be great at everything, so his strength is low. On the other hand, his dexterity would be very, very high.
Yeah, he has these super nimble hands that allow him to create things or allow him to use guns.
Oh yes, yes. Really, he uses guns. I didn't know that.
No, it's kind of his thing. He did shoot at us.
Yes. But yeah, his dexterity would be high. His constitution would be okay, I would say.
Yeah, he does help with the Power Stone in his way.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. If you want to do in a point buy system, maybe he's you could make it low. I don't know. But yeah, nothing where it's like, oh wow, his constitution's terrible.
Yeah. He does survive teleporting around with Yondu and Kraglin.
He does indeed. He does indeed. Here's an interesting one: wisdom. And when you think Rocket, you don't automatically think wise, but you know what? I think throughout the movies he does grow as a person. And if you watch the scenes between him and Thor, there is being a father to baby Groot actually changed him. It's like, all right, it's time to be the captain.
Man, that's a good heart to heart right there.
Yeah, yeah. And you could say that's charisma where he's persuading him and stuff, but you know what? I would like to say that's more of an insight thing.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, there's that conversation he has with Thor in Endgame, where Thor is depressed and he's put on a few pounds.
Yeah,
and
he's been hitting the ice cream.
Yeah, yeah. Rocket, he's there and he's given some advice because of his insight.
There's beer on the ship.
And what kind?
Absolutely, and I think that's all because of or in large part because of Yondu.
Yeah, quite possibly.
That helps him grow as a person.
Yeah.
I know who you are, boy, because you're me.
What kind of a pair are we?
Yeah, and that's what I love about the characters. You know what I've noticed with the Guardians characters? Their abilities, their strengths, their physical attributes don't change that much throughout the movies. It's how they grow emotionally and mentally. Because Drax is a quantum leap different from where
we're gonna
he
get to
started.
Drax, absolutely.
But
he is a quantum leap, and
Yeah.
it's nice watching these hobo murderers become into something more, into real adventurers.
Yes, yes. All right, next up is intelligence, and I gotta say this is his best non-physical stat. Like he's obviously intelligent.
Yeah, he comes up with the prison break plan.
Prison break plan. He has a good idea of how the world works, and he invents things. And
If we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna need to get into that watchtower. And to do that, I'm gonna need a few things.
You know that he knows all the science.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Especially when he just in 10 minutes he figures out how to escape the kiln, the prison, and he does all these crazy things with gravity and stuff. I'm like, okay, intelligence, he's got that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's also great at teaching baby Groot stuff. So with the bomb.
All right. First you flick this switch, then this switch. That activates it. Then you push this button, which will give you 5 minutes to get out of there.
Yes. So down to a charisma.
Oh, this is another low stat of his. Some might say this is his lowest stat.
Yes, he's getting down and dirty with a Rosie unloader. He's got no people skills, but he's good with motors. Yeah.
I love
If-
that music video so much.
If Zardu Hasselfrau says that he's has no people skills, then that is
the
correct.
way it is.
Yeah. And he wants to save the plants and the animals and all the animals in the buildings. It's like, not the people? Yeah, sure, why not? I don't know.
I seriously can't believe that's where your mind goes.
It was just a random thought, man. I thought we were friends. Of course I care about the planets and the buildings and all the animals on the planets.
And the people.
The Krabby Puppy's so cute, he makes me wanna die.
He's also terrible at winking.
Yes.
You know, they told me you people were conceited douchebags. But that isn't true at all.
Yes, he has a hard time lying, especially with doing that. It's always the wrong side, so
Getting the group in trouble, man.
yes. So, this is something I thought long and hard about, his race. Normally, sometimes we don't even talk about race, but this is where it's very important because we need a creature that is small.
Yeah.
Because he's not human-sized.
The other thing that we need is that they have to be good at making things because we're probably gonna make this character a artificer.
Or artificer.
Yeah.
You know what? By the way, our
Artificer.
our pronunciation of artificer, it's gonna go all over the place. It's like artificer, artificer. It's hard. It's hard to keep track of this word. But we Googled it. It's artificer. So I'm gonna try to go with that, but I might slip.
Now he's a philosophizer.
All right. So the first race I thought about were gnomes because they're small. They have high intelligence, dark vision, and it makes sense that Rocket would have dark vision. He's a raccoon.
Yeah.
I think, maybe. But,
Rabbit.
Or a rabbit. But raccoons on Earth generally are nocturnal creatures. So, yeah, he can see well in the dark. Why not?
Yeah.
And rock gnomes are good with machines.
Yeah, they're known for that.
But it's like, no, Carlos, you could do better. What else can he be?
It's the fact that while the stats match, the personality is not a gnome.
No, not enough. Doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right.
My instinct would then be halfling.
Halfling, okay.
Because they're small, they have a lot of dex, they have they're nimble,
Yeah. All right, getting all Bilbo Baggins in this crap.
right? But and they're naturally stealthy.
Yes, naturally stealthy.
So you would think, oh yeah, this is a really good choice, but he doesn't eat like a halfling.
No, and he doesn't have the jolliness of one either.
Yeah. So that RP is really important.
Yes.
Mm.
So this is a controversial choice, but I dare say that Rocket is more akin to a goblin. I know, right?
Whoa.
I know. So goblins are small. They have dark vision. They have nimble escape. You can take the disengage or hide action as a bonus action on your turn.
They also have this thing called Fury of the Small. When you damage a creature with an attack or a spell and the creature's size is larger than yours, you can cause the attack or spell to deal extra damage to the creature. The extra damage equals your level. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest.
Yes.
And yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense for Rocket. Yeah.
yeah, you see him do all these things: the nimble escape and the fury of the small, during the prison breakout.
Yes. But that's not what sold me. What sold
Really?
me was a description of a goblin in the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica.
Ooh, I don't
And
have that one.
let me read this. Sometimes driven by wild mood swings, goblins have an inclination toward destruction, which can take playful form, but is often anything but. Some goblins clobber things, others like to light them on fire, and many love to blow things up. Goblins have an outrageous sense of humor, usually expressed through mischievous pranks. The malicious among them find pleasure in the misfortune of others and tend to cackle maniacally whenever they're amused. They can act with apparent randomness, sometimes just to confuse and befuddle others.
If that doesn't speak to Rocket, I have no idea who this character is.
I know, if I just read those two paragraphs and someone said to me, think of an MCU character. Oh, that's obviously Rocket. Quite possibly Loki, but Rocket.
Loki doesn't do the maniacal laughing.
I know, he's very polite, isn't he? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's his British upbringing.
Yeah, no. Yes, he's like, beg your pardon.
Yeah. He does get excited from seeing his brother get his butt kicked, but
Yes.
that's about it.
I'm just a huge fan of the sport.
Yes.
But now getting to the class,
Class.
obviously he's an artificer
Yes.
because he's an inventor.
Yes. So, yeah, as you said, masters of invention, artificers use ingenuity and magic to unlock extraordinary capabilities in objects. They see magic as a complex system waiting to be decoded and then harnessed in their spells and inventions. And magic does exist in the MCU, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that really advanced science is basically magic in the MCU. If we're equating D&D to the MCU here. So what do you think about that?
I think we have a case study for that.
Your ancestors called it magic, and you call it science. Well, I come from a place where they're one and the same thing.
Yeah, I 100% agree that any advanced technology to a primitive race is magic.
All right there, Arthur C. Clarke. Anyway. Armor. Light armor, he's not out there in, like, plate mail or anything. You know what? I'll give him some style. Let's give him some studded leather.
Yeah, he has that great blue armor with the scarf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, this is a total side. It has nothing to do with D&D, but he doesn't wear the scarf enough, right?
Right? Yeah, he only wore it like once or twice.
Yeah, like that could be his thing. It's like, yeah, he should wear this, like Guardians 3 or maybe the next Thor movie. Mark my words, the scarf is gonna come in.
I just think when I think of Rocket, that's what I think of.
Yeah,
So,
and that's honestly more of a comic book thing, but it's like, yeah, all right, give him a scarf. I
Yeah.
think he'd be awesome.
So weapon proficiencies. It's clearly going to be simple weapons and firearms.
Yes, obviously firearms. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you could homebrew that, or I don't know.
He's been shooting us the entire time.
But yeah, firearms. He has vehicle proficiency because he obviously flies. He flew the Milano.
Quill, to make it through that, you'd have to be the greatest pilot in the universe.
Lucky for us.
Yeah.
Saving throws for an artificer are Constitution and Intelligence.
And yeah, those are good enough for the Constitution, and intelligence, as we said before, is one of his best. So
As for skills, we had some debate about this.
yeah, we
But
did.
we narrowed it down. The first would be Arcana.
Yeah. Now, like we said, advanced enough technology is magic,
Yeah.
and with him and Tony at the end of Endgame, they actually make the gauntlet for Hulk, or for Doctor Hulk.
Dr. Hulk. Yeah. Um. Yeah. That's definitely it. And yeah,
And that's space
if
magic.
really advanced science is magic, then yeah, he really knows really advanced science. So yeah, I'd give him Arcana. The second one we had some debate about, and we settled on sleight of hand because he steals things.
Obviously, there's the batteries from Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Harpulary batteries.
Harpulary.
What are they called again?
Annulax batteries.
Harbulary batteries.
That's nothing like what I just said. But they're worth thousands of units apiece, which is why the Sovereign hired us to protect them.
Carpulary. And they say it so many ways in the movie, and I get confused.
Yes.
Damn you,
And
Drax.
yeah, and he stole like this was off camera, but he stole like an eye and gave it to Thor, and he hid it up
Somewhere.
somewhere. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, trying to keep this place PG here.
Some jerk lost a bet with me in Contraxia.
He gave you his eye.
No, he gave me 100 credits. I snuck into his room later that night and stole his eye.
Thank you, sweet rabbit.
Oh, I wouldn't have watched that. The only way I could sneak it off Contraxia was up my...
But we all know.
We all know where you hide things
The,
in your body. That's right, kids, in your mouth. It's a dirty place. Anyway.
So he definitely speaks common for his languages.
Yeah, common, obviously. And I say that he does not speak Groot, but he understands Groot.
Yeah, he never says "I am Groot."
He says,
To-
"I am and Groot."
So, and as it was explained to me, you could understand the language, but you don't know the language totally if you can't speak it. So
Yeah, especially using the rules of D&D, that's a thing where you have to be able to speak it and understand it
to fully have that
to have that
knowledge.
yeah, language knowledge. All right, so for Artificer, the first thing you have is magical tinkering. At first level, you've learned how to invest a spark of magic into mundane objects. To use this ability, you must have thieves' tools or artisan tools in hand. You then touch a tiny non-magical object as an action and give it one of the following magical properties of your choice. And the list goes on and on. But yeah, something I would do is to prank Star-Lord. So, if Star-Lord has a tiny gun for some reason or a tiny pendant, I would just make it like fart over and over. just emits, because one of them is the object continually emits your choice of an odor or a nonverbal sound.
And we already know that he would do weird things with Drax's poop.
So, yeah. He does have phenomenal poops. So yeah, that's that would totally sound like something Rocket would do.
No doubt about it. Now, for spellcasting, he studied the workings of magic and how to cast spells, channeling the magic through objects. To observers, you don't appear to be casting spells in a conventional way. You appear to produce wonders from mundane objects and outlandish inventions.
Now, the list for Artificer spell list is far and wide, but here are just some favorites. Just skimming through. So, Firebolt, that's a cantrip.
Yeah.
That's not even a level spell, but yeah, pretty cool. Uh, Shocking Grasp. Um, we saw something akin to that when he fires Star-Lord with like an electric net. Not the same spell, but you know what? I could see how that could be similar.
I live for the simple things. Like how much this is gonna hurt.
Yeah, right, little man.
Yeah, we know that you have to be in melee range for a shocking grasp, and it's a little different in the clip shown, but we're stretching it.
Yeah, stretching. There probably is something better. We don't know. Snare. Yeah, that's like a trap of some sort. So that might be good, especially in the forest fight in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah. Now, flame arrows could just be bullets.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's firing at us right now and there's fire. I'll allow it.
Yeah. Yeah. So elemental weapons, you got all types of elements.
Yeah,
So you got the choice, and like it makes sense that.
You have fire, you have lightning, and the two examples we already talked about. So, again, it doesn't look like he's using magic, but he's pulling the trigger. Dang it!
Yeah, dealer's choice, whatever he feels like doing.
Yeah.
It totally sounds like him, like this capricious and like, oh, I'm just in the mood for this. At second level, he gets Infuse Item. You've gained the ability to imbue mundane items with certain magical infusions, turning those objects into magical items.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get to make some magical items, and here are some infusions we were thinking about. Enhanced Arcane Focus. While holding this item, a creature gains a +1 to spell attack rolls. In addition, the creature ignores half cover when making a spell attack. Yeah, that totally sounds like him. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, more attack.
And another one that I think is obvious is going to be Enhanced Weapon. This magic weapon grants a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with it. The bonus increases to 2 when you reach 10th level in this class. So obviously everything that he gives away is going to just be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, also we have a Radiant Weapon. This weapon grants a +1 bonus attack and damage rolls made with it. While holding it, the wielder can take a bonus action to cause it to shed bright light in a 30-foot radius and dim light for additional 30 feet. The wielder can extinguish the light as a bonus action. So, yeah, that would be pretty cool. I don't see why he wouldn't have like a gun that sheds light on things.
It's called a flashbang.
A flashbang. Yeah.
And there's that big explosion in the forest, so.
Sure. Yeah. Also, one of my favorites is a Repeating Shot. This weapon grants a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with it when it's used to make a ranged attack, and it ignores the loading property if it has it. So yeah, that's super cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
We all know what scene we're thinking about when Rocket is just.
There's a million.
Come and get some, space dog! Come on, get some! Come on, get some!
There's a million shots of him just shooting and never reloading, and it's amazing. At third level, he gets the right tool for the job. You've learned how to produce exactly the tool you need, with thieves' tools or artisan tools in hand. You can magically create one set of artisan tools in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you. This creature requires 1 hour of uninterrupted work, which can coincide with a short rest or long rest. Though the product of magic, the tools are non-magical, and they vanish when you use this feature again. So, again, he just likes to invent stuff and
Inventing stuff makes sense. Yeah.
and he's never out of his depth.
Yeah. All right. At third level, you get to choose uh, what kind of specialization the artificer has, and we'll get back to this because it could go really large. But remember, at third level, you can do that. At fourth level, you get ability score improvement. In lieu of ability score improvement, you can choose a feat, and here's some feats that Rocket might have. The first is Gunner. You have a quick hand and keen eye when employing firearms, granting the following benefits: increase your dexterity score by 1. You gain proficiency with firearms, obviously. You ignore the loading property of firearms. Being within 5 feet of a hostile creature doesn't impose disadvantage on your range attack rolls. I'm like, yeah, he would have Gunner, wouldn't
Yeah, he
he?
attacks people when they're close. I've seen him reload in battle like it ain't no thing. So, makes sense to me.
Yeah. Another thing is mobile. When you are exceptionally speedy and agile, you gain the following benefits. Your speed increases by 10 feet. When you use the dash action, difficult terrain doesn't cost extra movement on that turn. When you make a melee attack against a creature, you don't provoke opportunity attacks from that creature for the rest of the turn, whether you hit or not.
And we see Rocket just doing his mobile thing all the time. And something that I think is a real good fit with mobile for his third feat is Sulker. You are an expert at slinking through shadows. You gain the following benefits. You can try to hide when you are lightly obscured from the creature from which you are hiding. When you are hidden from a creature and miss it with a ranged weapon attack, making the attack doesn't reveal your position. Dim light doesn't impose disadvantages on your wisdom checks relying on sight. And here is just they just work together so well.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, the forest part again in Guardians of Galaxy Volume 2, that really does show like a few of these attributes. So I really dig that. Um, at level 6, you get tool expertise. Your proficiency bonus is now doubled for any ability check you make that uses your proficiency with a tool. Like, obviously, yeah,
Yeah.
obviously he's good with tools. Um, at level 7, you get Flash of Genius. You've gained the ability to come up with solutions under pressure. When you or another creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes an ability check or saving throw, you can use your reaction to add your intelligence modifier to the roll. So we see this actually a few times in the Guardians saga. Yeah, there's the prison escape, and he's assembling the device that they need while
running.
they're escaping. That's
Yeah.
yeah, very subtle, but yeah, he does it like it's like
Ain't no thing.
ain't no thing.
And then there's the assembling the cannon on Xandar while Star-Lord's distracting for the dance battle.
Oh yes.
And his father shall finally know vengeance.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and then at level 10 we have a magic item adept. You achieve a profound understanding of how to use and make magic items. You can attune to up to 4 magic items at once. If you craft a magic item with a rarity of common or uncommon, it takes you a quarter of the normal time, and it costs you half as much of the usual gold. So again, yeah, just really good at making things,
And
now cheaply.
yeah. So, and we know Rocket just loves to hoard stuff, so yeah, just more the better.
Yeah. And we can go on, and this is the last one we'll talk about for now. But it goes up to level 20. But spell storing item, 11th level, you can now store a spell in an object. whenever you finish a long rest, you can touch one simple or martial weapon or one item that you can use as a spellcasting focus, and you store a spell in it, choosing a first or second level spell from the Artificer spell list that requires one action to cast. So, yeah, it's basically a enchantment where it's like, oh, all right, that's great. All right, going back to it, we have the specialist class. So we have at third level, you choose the type of specialist you are, and the artificer class that we chose is artillerist.
This is the one that makes the most sense. An artillerist specializes in using magic to hurl energy, projectiles, and explosions on the battlefield. So
I don't know what else Rocket could be if not an artillerist.
now we could talk about the other ones, but that's only just for your own education and not for a rocket. So yeah,
Yeah.
he has 2 proficiency. When you adopt the specialization at third level, you gain proficiency with woodcarver's tools. If you already have this proficiency, you gain proficiency with one other type of artisan tools of your choice.
Yeah, I've never seen him wood carve, but I'm willing to bet he's good at it. Sure, why not? Okay,
I'm not going to doubt him.
not gonna doubt that. You also get artillerist spells. Starting at third level, you always have certain spells prepared after you reach particular levels in this class, as shown in the artillerist spells table. These spells count as artificer spells for you, but they don't count against the number of artificer spells you prepare.
Yeah.
All right, and
Here's
as you
the
can
list.
see, there's a whole big list. He definitely uses shield in the ego fight. It's like he casted it.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, scorching.
And it comes from an item.
Yeah, but again, if I were Rocket and Rocket were playing D&D, it's like he'd want the class. He'd want the specialist class that has fireball. Why
And
wouldn't he?
and at 9th level, he gets it. So
Yeah. Done. All right. Case closed.
yeah.
Um,
Now, the other one, just in case people are wondering, is Eldritch Cannon. Because he makes a lot of he makes a magical cannon, but because of the spells from the artillerist, I think that wins the
oh
wins
yeah,
out.
yeah. Eldritch Cannon definitely comes in handy. Let me just read a little bit of it here. Eldritch Cannon, also at third level, you've learned how to create a magical cannon using woodcarver's tools or smith's tools. You can take an action to magically create a small or tiny eldritch cannon in an unoccupied space on a horizontal surface within 5 feet of you. A small eldritch cannon occupies its space, and a tiny one can be held in one hand. Once you create a cannon, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest, or until you expend a spell slot to create one. You can have only one cannon at a time and can't create one while your cannon is present. So, yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and that is
Yeah, just let me just create a
a
cannon
handgun.
out of friggin'
Wood.
out of I. It's like you just make it, and there are a few things you can make a flamethrower, you can make a ballista, or a protector. Flamethrowers and ballistas, I think, would be more applicable to rocket.
Yeah. At 5th level, you get Arcane Firearm. You know how to turn a wand, staff, or rod into an arcane firearm, a conduit for your destructive spells. When you finish a long rest, you can use woodcarver's tools to carve special sigils into a wand, staff, or rod, and thereby turn it into your arcane firearm. The sigils disappear from the object if you later carve them on a different item. The sigils otherwise last indefinitely. You can use your arcane firearm as a spellcasting focus for your artificer spells. When you cast an artificer spell through the firearm, roll a d8 and gain a bonus to one of the spell's damage rolls equal to the number rolled. So, yeah, just more guns for him to play with.
Yep. Yeah. And this is fun. Explosive cannon. Starting at 9th level, every eldritch cannon you create is more destructive. Yeah. The cannon's damage rolls all increase by 1d8. As an action, you can command the cannon to detonate if you are within 60 feet of it. Doing so destroys the cannon and forces each creature within 20 feet of it to make a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC, taking 3d8 force damage on a failed save or half as much damage on a successful one. So making a gun that is a bomb.
And the way that we created this character, you get to run away for free with your mobile.
Yeah. So there we go. That's a lot of guns. I would say too many guns.
No.
I would say too many guns, but Rocket would say not enough.
That greedy bastard. He loves his guns.
Yes.
Now, something I love, just to prove our point with the Eldritch Cannon, is the fact that he always has only one gun on him at a time.
Yeah, he has a lot of gadgets. He's like a James Bond, just having things all around. But you know what? He commits. I think he names his guns. He takes care of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but yeah, no, I think he would admire the selection. It's like that scene in John Wick, where oh yes,
He needs a sommelier.
yes, something robust.
And then he gets a freaking shotgun.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you very much for watching.
I hope we didn't waste your time.